A broke college student walks into a supernatural loan house, signs a contract for 100 million ki he doesn't have, and when the only penalty is death, he dies on the spot. Then stands up, dusts himself off, and walks out smiling. The debt? Gone. Forever. How? Picture this. A college student named Yi Tianli is broke, powerless, and being dragged around by a girlfriend who wants designer bags he absolutely cannot afford. Her name is Sumao, nickname Meow Meow, and she is exactly as annoying as that nickname suggests. She wants a bag. She wants it now. And she does not care one bit about Yi Tianli's empty wallet. His roommate Han Yuan Long, rich, smug, and already plotting something, steps in with a solution. There's a place called the K Loan House, a supernatural lending institution where monsters, contracts, and death penalties are all part of the fine print. Han Yuan Long pulls out a special ability called the Golden Finger, stolen from someone named Chen Wang, and explains the plan. Borrow 1 million ki from the loan house using the Golden Finger to modify the contract number. Then never pay it back. Simple. Elegant. Absolutely insane. Yi Tianli looks at this plan and thinks, sure, why not? Now, before we go further, you need to understand the world these two idiots just walked into. This isn't a normal city. Jenga is a place where supernatural zones called K instances appear out of nowhere. Deadly game rooms with kill rates above 50%, 70%, even 85%. The currency is Ki or KBI. And the K, monster-level supernatural beings, are woven into every corner of society, from loan houses to taxi services to debt collection agencies. The minimum loan at the K loan house is 100,000 ki. Failure to repay means death. Not metaphorical death. Actual, physical, you stop breathing death. Yi Tianli walks in anyway. He takes the Golden Finger, approaches the loan desk, and signs the contract. The plan is to add a zero, turning 100,000 ki into 1 million ki. Quick, clean, profitable. Except the Golden Finger is damaged. Mid-use, it glitches. It adds the zero, but to the wrong place. The contract now reads, 100 million ki. 100 million. The loan house clerk reads it out loud. Our guy's heart physically hurts. He collapses. The clerk continues without blinking. 100 million ki cannot be lent. Yi Tianli has no collateral. By the house rules, he must pay with his life. Right now? And here's where the story starts for real. Because Yi Tianli actually dies. His heart stops. He crumples. The contract is marked void, because the rules of the K loan house state. The contract remains valid unless Party B dies. And Party B just died. Right there on the floor. Then he gets up. He stands up, stretches his neck, and walks out of the loan house completely fine. The debt is gone. The contract is void. You cannot collect from a dead man, and you cannot rearrest a man who already paid with his life. The loan house has no legal ground to touch him. He beat them at their own game, by dying. Outside, Han Yuan Long and Sumao are waiting. Their plan was to rob Yi Tianli II. He came out with the borrowed money. Instead, he comes out with nothing, covered in whatever post-death looks like, and tells them it didn't work out. Han Yuan Long loses it. He beats Yi Tianli badly and leaves him in the street like garbage. Sumao doesn't say a word. She just walks away with her rich boyfriend. This is the moment. This is where you understand what kind of story this is. Because Yi Tianli is lying on the ground, broke, beaten, and alone, and instead of despair, his eyes are already calculating. He's already thinking about what comes next. He didn't die because of bad luck. He died and came back. And somewhere in that exchange, he realized something important. Death is not the problem everyone thinks it is. Meanwhile, a medical student named Shin Shiyu finds him. She's the most beautiful woman on campus, the kind of girl everyone stares at, the kind of girl Han Yuan Long's type would chase. And she doesn't hesitate for a second. She crouches down, checks his wounds, and insists on taking him to the hospital. Yi Tianli tries to get up and leave. He wants to go confront Han Yuan Long. She physically grabs him and drags him toward the hospital entrance. And then, the hospital gate transforms. The entrance shimmers, warps, and locks. A cold announcement plays over speakers neither of them expected to hear. Welcome to a B-level K instance. Death rate, over 50%. Countdown, 5 minutes. Anyone not on the second floor dies by poison. Our boy just got dragged into a death trap by a girl who was trying to help him. On the second floor, every person is handcuffed in pairs, facing each other. 2 cups sit in front of each person. One is poison, one is antidote. The rule is brutally simple. Only the person across from you can identify which cup is which on your side. Tell the truth, drink the right cup, both survive. Lie and someone dies. The first pair demonstrates exactly why this is terrifying. A man asks the woman opposite him which cup is safe. She says the one on your right. He drinks it. It's poison. He falls dead. She explains, completely calm. She never said it was the antidote. She just said it was on his right. The room goes cold. Everyone realizes you cannot trust the person across from you. Yi Tianli watches all of this and says nothing. He looks at Shin Shuyu. She looks at him. And then, this man who just died 2 hours ago tells her the complete truth. He tells her exactly which cup is poison and which is antidote on her side. She stares at him for a second, then tells him the same. No games. No tricks. Then Yi Tianli picks up the wrong cup and drinks it. He drinks the poison. Deliberately. On purpose. With full knowledge of what it is. The room loses its mind. But Yi Tianli is already reading the rules out loud. Specifically Rule 3. Once you drink the medicine or the other party dies from poison, handcuffs unlock. It doesn't say you have to drink the antidote. It just says drink something. He found the gap in the rule. He exploited it. And because he has near infinite vitality, because death is basically a mild inconvenience for him, the poison does nothing except free both of them from their cuffs. They escape the instance together. Shin Shiyu stands outside the hospital, staring at him. She says only a K would survive that. He is very much a human. She cannot explain what she just watched. He asks her for a ride back to school instead of dinner. She stares at him like he just grew a second head. He smiles and starts walking. And somewhere in that moment, without either of them saying a word about it, something shifts between these two people. But there's no time for feelings. Yi Tianli has a roommate to deal with. He arrives near campus and immediately returns to the K lone house, alone this time. On purpose. Shin Shiyu follows him, watches from outside, and when he comes back out with borrowed money and a fresh wound on his head, she doesn't even ask. She just stares. He died inside, again, to void his first transaction, then borrowed on a fresh entry. He found the loophole in the lone house's own death penalty and is cycling through it like a cash machine. She is standing in the street next to a man who just treated dying twice in one afternoon as a minor errand. And this is only the beginning. Over the next few sessions, Yi Tianli tears through K instance after K instance. He is reckless, creative, and completely unbothered by the kind of situations that would send anyone else running. He earns 12 million KBI in total. When he gives Shin Shiyu 500,000 ki for accompanying him, an amount equal to an A-level hunter's annual salary, she tries to refuse it. He insists. He has a knife still sticking out of his forehead at the time. She notes that he must have some life-saving item. Otherwise, her entire medical knowledge becomes meaningless. He doesn't explain. He just grins and wipes the blood off his collar. These two are not yet partners. They are not yet anything official. But every time something impossible happens, she is the one standing next to him, watching, thinking, quietly starting to realize that this reckless, fearless, ridiculous man is always 3 steps ahead of everyone around him. The money is piling up. The injuries are piling up. And back at school, Han Yuanlong and Su Mao are very much still alive, and still completely unaware that the man they left bleeding in the street just quietly became one of the wealthiest people in Jenga. That reunion is coming, and it is going to hit different. Here is something you need to understand about K instances. They appear randomly. They cannot be bought. They cannot be negotiated with. They are death zones, the supernatural equivalent of a locked room where the only exit is winning or dying. That is the established rule. That is the law of this world. Yi Tianli is about to make that rule irrelevant. Back at the school dormitory, the confrontation finally happens. Yi Tianli arrives. Han Yuanlong and Su Mao see him standing there alive, and the discomfort on their faces is immediate. Su Mao opens her mouth and immediately insults Shin Shiyu, who is standing nearby. That is a mistake. Shin Shiyu turns to Han Yuanlong with the kind of quiet threat that only comes from someone who has never needed to raise her voice, and Han Yuanlong goes visibly pale. And then the courtyard changes. The school's boy dormitory courtyard shimmers. The familiar cold announcement begins playing. Welcome to the Kelly Grand Hotel. A-level instance. Mortality rate, 85%. Every person present, Yi Tianli, Shen Shuyu, Han Yuan Long, Su Mao, Professor Kai, and roughly 52 students total, is locked inside. 85% of them are not expected to walk out. The rules scroll in like a nightmare checklist. Rule 1. All guests must check in before 8 in the evening. Rule 2. Only couple suites are available. You must prove to the hotel manager that you are a genuine couple or be immediately removed. And by removed, we mean killed. Rule 3. Do not disturb the hotel owner. If the owner is bothered, everyone dies. Rule 4. Any guest dissatisfaction must be resolved by the manager. People begin panicking immediately. How do you prove you're a couple? The first pair tries. 2 people, clearly strangers, standing stiff as boards and holding a hotel flyer between them like a shield. The manager looks at them for exactly 2 seconds, then kills them. His logic: real couples do not hide behind paper and act like they've never met. He knows. Yi Tianli grabs Shen Shuyu's arm. He tells her plainly, this is just acting. Nothing is more important than staying alive. She needs to abandon pride for the next few minutes and trust him. She looks at him, nods once, and together, they walk to the front desk like 2 people who have known each other for years. The manager studies them, then approves. And now Han Yuan Long decides to cause problems. He tells the manager, loudly, that Su Mao was Yi Tianli's girlfriend this morning. That Shen Shuyu is not who she claims to be. The manager acknowledges this. He cannot reverse the previous judgment, but he offers Han Yuan Long an upgraded room as compensation. For most people, that would be the end of it. Take the room. Survive the night. Move on. Han Yuan Long keeps pushing. He demands a clear answer. He refuses to be pacified. He escalates, because he isn't trying to survive. He is trying to destabilize Yi Tianli. He knows the rules. He is deliberately invoking Rule 4. Manager must resolve all dissatisfaction to generate a situation where the rules contradict each other and the entire system breaks down. Yi Tianli sees this immediately. He's watching Han Yuan Long with absolute clarity, understanding exactly what's happening. And he says nothing. He watches. He waits. He is already thinking 5 moves ahead. Wang Tang, the class representative, the guy who has been following Shen Shuyu around like a shadow, tries to step in and calm things down. Shen Shuyu verbally defends Yi Tianli's position. But Han Yuan Long keeps escalating, raising his voice, pressing the manager, refusing to accept any answer. And then the hotel's upper floor lights up. The owner has been disturbed. A massive, terrifying presence descends from the upper levels. The hotel boss, a K-level entity of enormous power, fills the lobby. Every person inside feels it in their chest. The air gets heavier. The temperature drops. Han Yuan Long, who caused this, has just triggered the one rule that was supposed to kill everyone. This is the moment most people would freeze. Most people would panic. Most people would beg. Yi Tianli steps forward, reaches into his coat, and pulls out 5 million KBI in cash. He looks the hotel boss in the eye and offers to buy the entire Kelly Hotel. The room goes absolutely silent. The hotel boss stares at him. 5 million KBI is not a small amount. It's an insane amount. It is the kind of number that makes even a K entity pause. And Yi Tianli is standing there with it in his hands, completely calm, like this is just a business transaction and not a moment that could end every life in the building. The boss takes the money. Yi Tianli presses his handprint on the ownership contract. In front of everyone, guests, students, the manager, the entity that was about to kill them all, Yi Tianli becomes the new owner of the Kelly Grand Hotel. Mid-instance. Mid-death trap. He just bought the death zone they were trapped in. And as the new owner, every rule in the instance is now his to direct. He turns to the manager. He says, deal with Han Yuan Long and Su Mao according to the old rules. The manager executes them. They die in the instance they tried to weaponize against Yi Tianli. Wang Tang, who Yi Tianli had quietly passed a generous amount of cash to earlier, confirms to everyone watching that Han Yuan Long and Su Mao walked into the situation themselves. Practically suicide, he says. Then Yi Tianli announces to all 52 remaining trapped students, everyone is free to go. Outside, enforcement officers and school administrators are waiting. They know an A-level instance triggered on campus. The expected survivor count for a Kelly hotel run is 5 or 6 out of 52. They are standing there with their clipboards and their grim faces, preparing for a tragedy. Then 20 people walk out. Then 30. Then almost everyone. I bet you didn't see that coming. Each survivor is carrying enormous amounts of KBI. Yi Tianli distributed money to all of them before releasing them. The officers are completely frozen. No instance loophole has ever cleared the Kelly Hotel this fast. No one has ever cleared it this cleanly. Wang Tang steps forward and explains it to the principal and officers with barely concealed pride. Yi Tianli bought the hotel with 5 million KBI. During the instance, while it was actively trying to kill everyone, the crowd outside, students, staff, bystanders, stares at the hotel entrance as Yi Tianli and Shen Shiyu come out last. She thanks him quietly. He offers her a job, hotel reviewer. She thinks he means something else for half a second, blushes slightly, then realizes he is being completely serious. He bought a hotel and genuinely needs someone to evaluate it. He insists on paying her. She says no salary needed. This is repayment for saving her life. He says, I follow rules. You're getting paid. She agrees. And there it is, the first official professional arrangement between two people who are clearly becoming something much more than professional. The Kelly Hotel doesn't disappear the way instances normally do. Enforcement officers walk in expecting a death zone and find extremely well-behaved case staff greeting them at the door with hotel brochures. An officer threatens to shut it down. An A-level instance inside a school campus is completely unacceptable. Yi Tianli's solution is immediate. Compensate the school, compensate the students, and move the school elsewhere. He pays them all out on the spot. The entire school relocates. The Kelly Hotel expands into a full luxury resort on what used to be campus grounds. Shen Shiyu delivers her first review report. She recommends adding Chinese and Western restaurants, adjusting pricing for better occupancy. He reads it, cuts all room prices by removing 10 from the rate sheet, and watches occupancy explode. He learns from her report that she is the daughter of Xin Yuan, the biggest human tycoon in Jenga. He absorbs this information and very calmly points out that the entire Shen family fortune can't compare to the K Hotel he just built from a death trap. She is equal parts amused and annoyed. The hotel is now officially called the Kue Hotel, and it is only the beginning of everything Yi Tianli is about to build. He has money, a power base, a growing staff of K, and one extremely competent woman who keeps showing up every time things get impossible. But Jenga has 3 major powers, and he just made enemies with the one behind the Han family. Yi Tianli has 12 million KBI. He has the Kue Hotel. He has Xiao Wang, a rough, loyal, combat-capable K who he hired away from debt collecting, running hotel operations with blunt enthusiasm. But the city of Jenga is not going to let him grow in peace. There are 3 powers in Jenga. The first is the General's Mansion, led by a K king named General Lin, ancient, military, and largely neutral. The second is Count Redberg, one of Jenga's most powerful K lords, calculating, dangerous, and currently the backing power behind the Han family. The third is Black Doc, mysterious, wealthy, and operating through fronts and proxy businesses throughout the city. Shen Shiyu explains all of this to Yi Tianli clearly. She knows the political landscape from growing up in the Shen family. She is not just beautiful and medically brilliant. She is sharp in the way that wealthy, observant people become sharp. She reads power structures the way Yi Tianli reads contracts. He listens. Then he returns to the K loan house and borrows another 10 million ki. His total debt is now enormous. But debt only matters if you can't void it, and Yi Tianli has a method. While driving back to the hotel, a convoy of K vehicles blocks the road. Debt collectors, sent by the K loan house to collect on Yi Tianli's unpaid balances. The leader is quasi-K level, physically dangerous, combat-capable, and carrying the full authority of whatever brutal enforcement standards the loan house operates under. This should be an intimidating moment. Yi Tianli leans out his window and asks the leader how much he makes per month. The leader, too confused to not answer, says 150 ki per month. His boss earns 400. Yi Tianli offers him 5,000 ki per month. Full benefits. A Kue Hotel VIP card, 50% off all stays. He then turns to the rest of the debt collector squad and offers them 2,000 ki per month each, also with VIP cards. The leader defects on the spot. The rest of the squad follows within 60 seconds. Yi Tianli just turned the people sent to kill him into his personal army, using money and a hotel discount card. He didn't fight anyone. He didn't threaten anyone. He just paid better than their current employer. This is how our guy builds power. Not through strength alone. Through economics. The Han family gets wind of this. Han Jiaqing, patriarch of the Han family, father of Han Yuan Long, is furious. His son is dead. His family's reputation is damaged. And behind him, Count Redberg is quietly pulling strings. The message is clear. Yi Tianli needs to be dealt with before he grows any further. Yi Tianli decides the best defense is a better alliance. He is going to visit the general's mansion. Not to fight. Not to challenge. To make a friend. But first, shopping. He takes Shin Shuyu to Haishimal Mall, the largest and most impressive commercial complex in Jenga. The debt collector crew goes first to get fully outfitted in proper clothes. Then Yi Tianli walks to a jewelry counter and asks to see necklaces. Shin Shuyu's internal monologue immediately goes into overdrive. She watches him study necklaces carefully. He picks out a beautiful, youthful-style piece, expensive, elegant, clearly chosen with care, and purchases it without hesitation. 100,000 ki. She thinks, is this for me? He hands it to her, then tells her, completely casually, that the style was too young for Lady Lu of the general's mansion, who was the actual intended recipient. Since it doesn't fit, she might as well have it. She stares at him. She knows. She absolutely knows this was planned from the start. He bought her the necklace using the general's wife as a convenient excuse so she wouldn't feel awkward accepting it. He's been 3 steps ahead of her entire emotional reaction since the moment he walked into the jewelry section. She keeps the necklace. She says nothing, but something in her expression shifts slightly. He then purchases jade jewelry for Lady Lu and multiple bottles of aged Western red wine, 82 years old, for General Lin. He upgrades his own wardrobe. He leaves the mall looking sharp, calm, and carrying exactly the right gifts for the most important alliance meeting of his life. The general's mansion sits at the edge of Jenga like something from a different era. Grand, north-facing, surrounded by dark clouds, and an aura that makes the air feel heavier just standing near it. Xiao Wang gives the history. 3 S-level hunters tried to challenge it before. 2 died. 1 survived but lost his mind and got nothing. Everyone forcibly pulled inside has died. The prize for clearing the general's mansion instance is the Black Sha sword, the supreme treasure of the K-world, a weapon that has slain millions. Yi Tianli says he's going in. Shin Shuyu says she's coming with him. He says absolutely not. Too dangerous. She says she trusts him. He looks at her. She looks back without flinching. He agrees. A guide K appears and welcomes them as guests. The rules of the general's mansion are announced with the weight of military formality. Respect General Lin and Lady Lu at all times. Etiquette is not optional. It is survival. There is a marriage contest for the general's eldest daughter. 2 rounds. A martial contest and a literary contest. Those who pass both and receive Lady Lu's recognition receive the ultimate treasure. And the general despises excuses. Do not refuse any of his demands, or heads will roll. Literally. Additional complication. Professor Kai and 20 or more students who were pulled into the general's mansion earlier are still trapped inside. Wang Tang is present too, hovering near Shin Shuyu like a shadow. Yi Tianli introduces her as his secretary and exempts her from the marriage contest. Wang Tang doesn't like that. Before anything else begins, Yi Tianli steps forward and presents his gifts. Not when asked. Before sitting down, he approaches General Lin and Lady Lu with the jade jewelry for the lady and the 82-year-old wine for the general, offering them with genuine, practiced respect. General Lin's expression shifts visibly. Lady Lu's eyes rest on Yi Tianli with new attention. Then Wang Tang tries to compete. He pulls off his own watch and offers it as a gift. General Lin and Lady Lu recognize it as a human timepiece, completely worthless to K. Wang Tang is publicly removed from the gift presentation area in front of everyone. He stands there sputtering while Yi Tianli stands calm, having already secured the general's favorable first impression without saying a single boastful word. And this is only the setup. The actual contests haven't started yet. The martial contest begins. The rules are announced with the ominous tone this entire mansion runs on. Deputy General Lee, a being described as filled with intense resentment, will hunt every contestant for the duration of 2 burning incense sticks. You cannot leave the mansion grounds. A headless general guards the perimeter, and anyone who tries to run outside dies instantly. The objective is simple: do not lose your head. After the incense burns out, everyone is teleported back to the banquet hall. The incense lights. A massive, headless general crashes through the far wall, and the chaos begins. People scatter, scream, and die. Students who thought they might have a chance find out very quickly that they do not. Wang Tang deploys a K artifact, a corpse revival technique, and manages to temporarily slow the general down. The room briefly thinks he might actually hold. Then the technique fails, because it is a soul-based emotional attack, and the general has no head. He has no face to read, no emotions to exploit, no soul access point for the technique to latch onto. Wang Tang's best weapon is useless against this specific enemy by design. He goes down. Yi Tianli is reading the rules again while the chaos swirls around him. Shen Shiyu stays close, watching his face. He notices something. Rule 3 says, do not lose your important head. That phrasing is specific. Deliberately specific. Why important? Why not just your head? He scans the mansion. He looks at Deputy General Lee. The general is charging through the hall, and Yi Tianli watches the way he moves, the way he protects certain angles of approach, the way his wooden neck glints slightly differently than it should. The head is wooden. It is a constructed decoy. The real head, the important one, is hidden somewhere in the mansion. Yi Tianli leaves Shen Shiyu in a protected corner and moves fast through the mansion, searching. He finds it, the actual wooden head, hidden in a side room, placed as if it's part of the decor. He picks it up. The headless general freezes. I bet you didn't see that coming, and neither did anyone else in that room. With the wooden head in his hand, Deputy General Lee retreats. The instance recognizes the possession of the head as a resolution state. The round ends. Everyone still breathing is teleported back to the banquet hall. But the story isn't done, because Yi Tianli reads the secondary rule printed on the wooden head itself. If the wooden head returns to its original place, the next person shall take its place in future martial trials. This is the trap. This is how the previous S-rank hunter lost their mind. They survived the trial, thought returning the head was the proper conclusion, and then got locked into the instance forever as the next guardian. Yi Tianli keeps the head. He doesn't return it. He wins the martial contest cleanly and avoids the trap that destroyed a stronger person. General Lin watches all of this without expression. Lady Lu watches quietly. The literary contest is next. The rules, a poetry duel, theme is spring. No interference with the opposing scholar during composition. Lady Lu judges. Her verdict is final and cannot be questioned under any circumstances. Yi Tianli's opponent is not a student. He is a scholar entity from inside the instance. Ancient, lethal with a brush, and he opens by reciting Spring River Flower Moon Night, one of the most celebrated poems in all of Tang Dynasty literary history. A piece so profound that scholars have spent centuries studying it. Everyone watching, students, staff, the general himself, goes quiet. There is no coming back from that poem. Everyone knows it. Shen Shuyu's hands tighten. She watches Yi Tianli pick up his brush. His hand seems to shake. She is terrified. She watches him write, slowly, carefully, and the characters that emerge are not a masterpiece. They are simple. A child's rhythm. An ode to a goose. The room's reaction is not silence. It is horror. A children's nursery rhyme against one of the greatest poems ever written. It looks like a concession. It looks like giving up. It looks like Yi Tianli has finally, genuinely, found a situation he cannot handle. Lady Lu steps forward to judge, and she announces Yi Tianli's poem as the winner. The scholar erupts. He demands an explanation. How can a nursery rhyme defeat a Tang Dynasty masterpiece? It defies all logic, all standards, all rules of literary competition. He is furious. He appeals to everyone in the room. Lady Lu repeats her judgment. Her verdict cannot be questioned. But Yi Tianli explains it himself. Calmly, quietly, with the smallest smile. The theme of the contest was spring, past tense. While the scholar was absorbed in composing his legendary poem, Yi Tianli used the golden finger to rewrite the contest rules. He changed the theme from spring to geese. The scholar's poem, beautiful, historic, extraordinary, does not match the new theme. Yi Tianli's nursery rhyme matches it perfectly. He cheated. He cheated so cleanly and so early that the scholar didn't notice until it was over. And the rules say Lady Lu's judgment is final. There is no appeal. General Lin and Lady Lu look at each other. Then Lady Lu asks one question. Where did Yi Tianli get the golden finger? He tells them. He defeated Qin Wang to take it. The room changes temperature. Defeating Qin Wang, the original owner of the golden finger, is described by General Lin as a feat harder than clearing an S-level instance. It is the kind of achievement that belongs on a different tier entirely. Their entire perception of the young man standing in front of them recalibrates in an instant. They offer him their daughter in marriage. He declines. He didn't come for a marriage. He came for the treasure and an alliance. They respect the answer immediately. General Lin and Lady Lu present the Black Sha sword directly, skipping the remaining formalities. The sword's description is not exaggerated. It has slain millions in battle. It carries killing intent so concentrated that ordinary K feel fear and submission just being near it. And every time it is drawn, it consumes massive amounts of life force from its wielder. Yi Tianli takes it and says, "You've given it to the right person. He has plenty of life to spare." Then he tells them his real secondary purpose. He killed a member of the Han family. The Han family is backed by Count Redberg. He needs allies who can match that level of threat. General Lin leans forward slightly. He says, "I also have a score to settle with Count Redberg. An alliance is formed. Not through pressure, not through tricks, through mutual benefit, genuine respect, and the quiet recognition that Yi Tianli is something this world has not seen before." He gives General Lin and Lady Lu 10 Kuei Hotel Supreme cards. Free stays, any room, anytime. Lady Lu's expression does something quiet and private. She used to frequent the Kuei Hotel before the general's finances declined. She had been too ashamed to return. Now she is being invited back as an honored guest by the man who owns it. General Lin decides to visit the hotel immediately. He prepares a procession. 100 K soldiers march through Jenga behind General Lin's sedan chair destination, the Kuei Hotel. Every person in Jenga sees it. A K king publicly endorsing Yi Tianli's hotel. The message travels faster than any advertisement. Shen Shiyu calls him out the moment they're alone. She says, "You just used the general to advertise for free." He grins. He absolutely did. And the hotel goes to full occupancy overnight. The Han family is done waiting. Han Jacking, patriarch, furious, backed by Count Redberg's army, arrives at the Kuei Hotel with a large force of Redberg K soldiers. His son urges him forward. The plan: kill Yi Tianli, seize the hotel, avenge Han Yuan Long, make it clear to everyone in Jenga what happens when you cross the Redberg faction. Xiao Wang and the debt collector K crew meet them at the entrance. The fight is immediate and brutal. One of the Han soldiers deploys an artifact, something powerful enough that Xiao Wang recognizes it and immediately wants to steal it for Yi Tianli. That is the kind of team loyalty you get when you pay people properly. But then Yi Tianli steps outside himself. Nobody expected this. Everyone assumed he would stay inside, manage from safety, let his soldiers handle the physical confrontation, preserve himself. Instead, he walks directly to the front of the engagement line. He reaches for the Black Sha sword. It doesn't come out. He pulls again. Nothing. The sword is stuck in its sheath. The blade that has slain millions, the supreme treasure of the general's mansion, will not move. Yi Tianli stands there in the middle of a battle, tugging at a sword that refuses to cooperate, while every enemy soldier stares at him. The silence is almost funny. Almost. Then it comes out. The sword leaves the sheath and the killing intent hits the entire battlefield like a wave. K soldiers on the Han family's side stagger. Some go pale. Some take involuntary steps backward. The weight of the sword's accumulated violence, millions of lives, centuries of battle, presses on everyone present like physical weight. But the life force drain hits Yi Tianli immediately. He draws the sword and the cost is instant. He visibly weakens. His stance becomes less certain. His body is burning through borrowed lives at a rate that is not sustainable in a prolonged fight. Han Jacking sees it. He orders the counterattack. Hit him now, while he's drained. Shinshuyu moves. She doesn't run away. She runs toward him, puts herself between Yi Tianli and the advancing soldiers without hesitation. She is a medical student with no combat ability facing down a K army because she is not going to stand back and watch him get overwhelmed. And then, the sound of a sedan chair. General Lin's procession arrives. 100 K soldiers, the general's banner, and the K King himself stepping out of his transport to look at Han Jacking with complete calm. Han Jacking's expression changes. General Lin says, "Mr. Yi is my friend. He can kill whoever he wants." Han Jacking tries to leverage Redberg's name. He tells the general that opposing them means opposing Count Redberg himself. He thinks this will give the general pause, that any rational power would step back rather than invite Redberg's full wrath. General Lin says, "Vassals of Redberg deserve to die even more." Han Jacking pivots. He offers to betray Redberg and serve the general instead. His son joins the begging. They are offering everything: information, loyalty, service, just to survive. Yi Tianli is asked what he thinks. He pretends to consider it. He gives them the brief, terrible hope of maybe. Then he says, "Dogs raised from pups won't bite. A vicious dog taken in halfway will bite its master one day. That's not worth it." General Lin nods once. The order is given. Han Jacking and his son are executed. And then, the ground shakes. Han Jacking is not dead. His body is there. His wounds are real. But he stands up. Count Redberg has granted him resurrection, a new body, stronger than before, elevated to K King level. Han Jacking rises with the power of a K King and a face full of fury at the people who just killed him. The battle becomes something else entirely. 2 K Kings on the enemy side now. General Lin and Lady Lu, who is quasi-K King level, engage on Yi Tianli's side. The general acknowledges openly that his old bones are being pushed hard. This is not a comfortable fight even for him. And yes, it gets worse. Yi Tianli sees what needs to happen. There is only one move. He begins feeding massive amounts of life force directly into the Black Sha sword, charging a strike that requires everything he has. The sword starts glowing with accumulated killing intent that makes the air around it vibrate. The enemy tries to interrupt. They see what he's building, and they cannot allow that strike to land. Yi Tianli extends the Hell K hand, one of his artifacts, and physically holds the advancing soldiers back. It buys seconds. That's all he needs. The charged strike lands on the resurrected Han Jacking. The K King level body doesn't survive it. Han Jacking dies permanently this time. No more resurrections. No more new bodies. Yi Tianli is barely standing. The drain from that strike is enormous. He is running on the edge of what even his near-infinite vitality can sustain in a single engagement. Count Redberg steps in personally. This is the moment where everything could go wrong. Redberg is one of the 3 major powers of Jenga. He is not a subordinate. He is not a vassal. He is the one who controls vassals. And he is moving to intervene directly. From out of nowhere, a taxi crashes into Count Redberg at full speed. The K driver, Yi Tianli's personal driver, the former instance entity who now works for 2,500 Ki per month in a permanent hotel room. He drove a car into one of the most powerful beings in Jenga to buy his employer 30 seconds. That 30 seconds is enough. Yi Tianli delivers the killing blow. Count Redberg, one of Jenga's 3 powers, the man who controlled the Han family, the man who could resurrect allies in new bodies, dies. The battlefield goes completely quiet. A human just killed a K King, not with overwhelming strength, not with a trump card weapon handed to him by fate. With cunning, allies who believed in him, and a taxi. Jenga will never be the same. The aftermath of the Redberg battle is handled with the same efficiency Yi Tianli brings to everything. The Han family villa is available for seizure. Redberg's estate fortress is available. The assets of both are enormous. Weapons, territory, resources, soldiers without a master. Someone has to claim it. Yi Tianli offers General Lin a 30-70 split. The general gets 70%. Yi Tianli keeps 30. General Lin immediately protests. He says this is too generous. They were support players in Yi Tianli's fight, not the main force. He is a K King with a code of honor. Taking 70% from the man who actually killed Redberg feels wrong. Yi Tianli explains his thinking. With 70% of the combined Han and Redberg assets, the general's mansion can fully revitalize. It can expand its influence beyond Jenga. It can become a power that operates across multiple cities. And wherever General Lin goes, Yi Tianli has an ally with that reach and that strength. The 30% Yi Tianli keeps is enough. More than enough. He doesn't need everything. He needs leverage, loyalty, and presence. General Lin and Lady Lu look at each other. Something in both of them, something that has not responded to anyone in a long time, moves. They kneel. General Lin says, "My wife Linling has never met a true master. I wish to pledge allegiance to you as my lord." Lady Lu follows. "I will follow the general in serving our lord." Yi Tianli accepts. He asks them to immediately lead forces to the Han family compound and the Redberg stronghold. Take everything. Secure it before anyone else can claim it. The general departs. Meanwhile, Shun Shiyu contacts Yi Tianli with news from her end. She has been using the Shun family's diplomatic influence to keep Black Doc, the third and final major power, from intervening. The pressure is holding but will not hold much longer. Black Doc is watching, waiting, and calculating whether the moment has come to move. Yi Tianli says, "Black Doc going up against us now is like an egg hitting a rock." He means it, but he is also aware that eggs sometimes hit rocks because they don't know what rocks look like up close. He steps outside to deal with a new wave of problems. More K-debt collectors, this time sent by multiple loan houses, a larger force than the first group he recruited. They block his path with the confidence of people who do not yet understand what happened to the last group sent to collect from Yi Tianli. He draws the Hell K hand. The air changes. The Black Shaw sword's presence, even sheathed, presses on every K in the crowd. They go still. He puts the sword down. He makes his offer. "Work for me. Monthly salary 2,000 KBI plus 5 insurances. Blade in hand. Follow me. Kill the Count. Seize the stronghold." Except the Count is already dead by this point. He knows that. He delivers the line anyway because it works. Half the crowd moves to his side before he finishes speaking. He announces the raid on Redborg's stronghold, which General Lin is already executing, and frames it as ongoing. Something to join. Something to be part of. Mass recruitment. On the spot. His total force is now Xiao Wang's team, the original debt collectors, the new wave of recruits, and General Lin's full army. He sends Xiao Wang to equip everyone with military gear borrowed from the general stockpile. The Kuei Hotel becomes a staging ground for the largest coordinated force in Jenga. Then comes the taxi instance. Yi Tianli and Shun Shiyu take a cab back to the hotel after a meeting. The cab begins accelerating, not in a driver-in-a-hurry way, in a supernatural entity is taking control way. Announcements begin playing inside the vehicle. Do not question the driver's route. You will eventually reach your destination. If you cannot bear the costs, the passenger becomes part of the taxi. This is a K instance. The driver is the instance entity, and the trap is designed to disorient passengers until they panic, question the driver, break a rule, and get absorbed. Yi Tianli looks at the driver. He offers 10,000 KBI for the ride, then announces that for every second that passes, he will deduct 100 KBI from the total. The driver processes this. If he takes the long route, he loses money. If he goes straight, he keeps the full amount. Every second he wastes costs him. He is a K built around taking detours and charging for them. And Yi Tianli just turned the incentive structure inside out. The driver takes the most direct route at maximum possible speed. They arrive at the Kuei Hotel in record time. Yi Tianli pays the remaining amount, roughly 5,000 KBI after the deductions, and then offers the driver a job. 2,500 KBI per month, a permanent hotel room, and exclusive employment as Yi Tianli's personal driver. The driver accepts immediately. Our guy just recruited a supernatural taxi driver by hacking the instance's own economic logic. At this point, there should be a support group for K entities who got outmaneuvered and then hired by Yi Tianli. That night at the hotel, the quiet moment before everything final, Yi Tianli finds Shin Shuyu still there. He asks why she hasn't gone home. She offers to help with whatever comes next. He tells her, tomorrow is the decisive engagement. She should rest, or go back to school. Stay safe. She asks if there's anything she can do. He says yes. Use the Shun family influence to make sure Black Doc stays neutral one more day. She agrees. He says, quietly, after this is dealt with, I have something to tell you. She pauses. She knows what that means. She is a smart woman who has been standing next to this man through dying loan houses and A-level death hotels and headless generals and poetry contests, and she absolutely knows what he is about to say. He adds, "Take care of yourself," then walks away. She calls him a fool under her breath. She is smiling. The next day, with Redberg gone and the Han family eliminated, Yi Tianli takes Shun Shiyu back to Heishimal Mall. He has one last piece of unfinished business there. In the mall's most prestigious jewelry section, there is a display case holding a crystal called the Eternal Love Necklace, made from black crystal, worth 8 million ki. And according to a catalog General Lin showed him, wearing it grants near infinite life, the same near immortal vitality that Yi Tianli himself carries. He wants her to have it. They approach the display case. The lights go out. The Black Dragon King twins step forward from the shadows. Twin K-Kings. Sisters. The secret owners of Heishimal Mall, a black dock front operation established 100 years ago that nobody ever connected back to Black Dock. Their plan was always this: wait for Redberg to weaken Yi Tianli, then strike in their own territory. They have called in a full Black Dock soldier unit. The exits are covered, and they announce that after killing Yi Tianli and Shin Shuyu here, they will move on the general's mansion next. Yi Tianli grabs the necklace from the case before the trap fully closes. He paid for it. It's his. Then he runs. 2 K-Kings are chasing them through Heishimal Mall. The twins move together. That's the key to their power. Individually, each one is weaker than a full K-King. Together, they are the equivalent of 2 K-Kings operating in perfect synchronization. 100 years of fighting side by side. 100 years of reading each other's movements without words. They have never fought a human before who actually presented a problem. Yi Tianli activates the Hell K hand and pushes his speed to maximum. He barely stays ahead. Behind him, the twins split the mall into sections with their soldiers, cutting off escape routes, pressing from both angles, herding them toward a closed-off section where there is no exit. And then, mid-sprint, with 2 supernatural beings closing the distance behind them, Yi Tianli shoves the Eternal Love Necklace into Shun Shuyu's hands. He says, "This is for you. Be my lady boss." She stares at him. She is running for her life. There are 2 K-Kings within 40 meters. The ceiling lights are flickering from the energy of the chase. And this man just proposed to her, using a necklace that costs 8 million ki and grants near immortal life, mid-combat, mid-sprint, without stopping or breaking stride. She has no words. She grips the necklace. He grins and keeps running. Then the cavalry arrives. The K-driver screeches the car through a mall entrance, because why not? Nothing about this evening has been normal, and pulls up at exactly the right moment. Xiao Wang arrives from a side passage with backup. The dynamic shifts from a chase to a standoff. The twins separate to surround them. This is their tactical instinct. Divide and conquer. Use their superior power to cover both flanks simultaneously and eliminate the possibility of escape in any direction. It is also their fatal mistake. Separated, each twin drops below the threshold of a full K-King. They are still dangerous. They are still incredibly powerful. But they are no longer the combined force that has been unstoppable for a century. General Lin Ling, arrives with the general's mansion army. He engages one twin directly. The twin is strong, but she is fighting one of the oldest, most battle-experienced K-Kings in Jenga. The fight is brutal and fast. The second twin, seeing her sister engaged, recognizing the threat closing in, makes the last-ditch move. She grabs Shin Shuyu, a hostage. If she controls Shin Shuyu, she controls Yi Tianli. That is the logic. That is the calculation. It is the last calculation she ever makes. Yi Tianli does not hesitate. He does not think about the tactical situation. He does not weigh the risk. The twin's hand is on Shin Shuyu, and the response is immediate, complete, and absolute. He attacks. You dare touch her? With one twin pinned down by General Lin and the other exposed after taking the hostage gamble, the moment opens. Yi Tianli drives the attack with everything he has, the Hell K hand, the life force that has carried him through 100 deaths, and whatever is left in the Blackshaw sword. The second twin goes down. General Lin finishes the first. Both Black Dragon King twins are dead. 100 years of combined power, a century of operating as Jenga's hidden third faction. gone in the span of a single confrontation that began because Yi Tianli wanted to buy his girlfriend a necklace. The Black Dock soldiers stand down. Without their K-Kings, without their command structure, they have no reason to continue fighting. Black Dock's power in Jenga is broken, not damaged. Broken. The third major power has fallen. The mall goes quiet. Shin Shuyu stands in the middle of the debris and the aftermath with the eternal love necklace in her hand. She is shaking, not from fear, but from everything that just happened at once. The chase, the confession, the hostage grab, the rescue, and the man who just killed 2 K-Kings standing in front of her looking like he'd like to sleep for a week. He reaches over and places the necklace around her neck himself. He tells her, wearing it will give her near infinite life. Like him. So she can't die either. She looks at him. She says, that's not important to me anymore. He asks, then what am I to you now? She says, my boyfriend. He says, my girlfriend. And then, because this story cannot let any moment be fully peaceful, the Black Dragon twin sisters are not completely done. There is one last desperate attempt. One twin, barely alive, makes a final move toward Shinshuyu with whatever is left in her. General Lin's army moves. But she is already through them. Yi Tianli intercepts her. He ends it. Final. Permanent. The last ember of Black Dock's Jenga operation goes cold. In the aftermath, Jenga restructures. The announcements come quickly. All K instances in the city are canceled overnight. The K Loan House, the institution that started all of this, the place where a broke college student accidentally signed a contract for 100 million Ki and died for it, is completely demolished. The death industry that fed on human desperation and fear for decades is gone. Jenga becomes the safest place in the world. Not because danger has been outlawed. Because the man who now effectively controls the city treats safety as a business asset, and he is very good at business. Wang Tang, class representative, perennial side character, the man who tried to one-up Yi Tianli with a watch, gives the public address to new students welcoming them to what Jenga has become. He introduces Governor Yi. He calls himself Jenga's first unofficial publicity ambassador. He says this with such sincerity that nobody has the heart to tell him how transparent it is. And then, the wedding. The ceremony is quiet in the way that important things sometimes are. No massive audience. No political theater. Just two people who found each other in the strangest possible circumstances. A lone house, a hospital death trap, a hotel instance, a headless general's mansion, a mall ambush, standing in front of an officiant. The officiant asks, are you willing to bind your souls and become one until the end of all things? Shinshuyu speaks first. She says, she was a medical student who spent her life trying to snatch people from death. She studied everything there was to know about keeping people alive. And then she met a madman who traded his life for money like it was pocket change. She says, from today, no matter how many lives he has borrowed from the abyss, every single one of those lives is under her care. As long as she doesn't nod, he is not allowed to die even once. He will never die without her permission. That is her vow. Then Yi Tianli speaks. He says, when he first walked into the K Loan house, he borrowed 100 million lives. He felt invincible. Death was just a painless game, a loophole to exploit, a mechanic to abuse, a rule to rewrite. He laughed at it. He traded it. He used it like currency. But then there was a woman who stood in front of him with red-rimmed eyes, again and again, every time things got impossible, and something shifted. He says, all those lives combined were not as real as her being by his side at this moment. He doesn't want the 100 million anymore. In this life, he has one life. It's hers. No regrets. Never to be redeemed. The man who beat a supernatural lone house by dying, who bought a death trap with cash, who rewrote poetry contest rules mid-competition, who built an army out of debt collectors and taxi drivers, who killed 2 K-Kings and 1 K-Lord, and turned the most dangerous city in the world into the safest. That man has found the one thing that was never part of any calculation. The one thing he cannot trade away. The one thing that actually matters. Jenga is at peace. The Kuei Hotel empire is still growing. General Lin's forces are moving beyond the city, expanding Yi Tianli's network of allies across the region. Black Dock still exists as an organization beyond Jenga, but without its twin kings, without its foothold, it is no longer a threat here. What comes next for Yi Tianli and the lady boss of Jenga is a story for another time. Other cities, other powers, other impossible situations that this man will somehow walk out of while covered in blood and grinning. But for now, Jenga is his, and she is his. And for the first time in this entire story, the most dangerous man in the city does not want a single extra life. He has exactly the one he needs. If this story hit different, drop a like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, which moment broke you first, the lone house, the hotel, or the wedding vows?